Hey Star, welcome to the cosmos. My name is Chrissy, and surprise, surprise, I finished another island. If you didn't know about this island, that's fine. It was only available to my Patreon subscribers. Just kidding, I don't have Patreon. I just didn't say anything about this island at all. So, my sister wasn't using her Switch, and I wanted to just do something low key, something a little different on her island, and I messed around with it for a little while. Initially trying to go for elegant core, but that one's a lot of commitment and not as relaxing. And then I was trying the one color challenge for a little bit there. Everything was yellow. And then I was like, you know what? I don't really like farm core and I don't really like sci-fi futuristic, but what if I put them together? And so I just started messing around with that. I wasn't even sure if I was really gonna like the theme or the idea, but it was super fun to use a ton of different items that I had never used before. So let me show you the map. Oh, whoops. I'm going through all the camera filters first. So I have my character, my sister's character, Petrie, Ione, Roswell, Judy, Tipper, Rattle, Cephalobot, Sprocket, Dell, and Ribbit. And all of these characters I was pretty excited to include. There's not a whole lot of characters that I felt like fit the bill for sci-fi futuristic. And maybe my expectations were just pretty limited, but I feel like these characters really ended up fitting super well. The character I was most excited to have on my island was Roswell. I didn't think I would ever like any of the alligator characters, but I saw him and I was like, he looks like those Guylian shell chocolates. And then somebody else said that he looks like a cinnamon roll, and I was like, oh my gosh. He's so cute. So he's on my island. He says space as his little key catchphrase, and he's obsessed with aliens. It's supposed to be crop circle design on his character. But anyway, also was really excited to have Tipper because abducting cows is just an alien trope. So I gave her a cow farm that I'm excited to show you guys. So let me just take you through. My very first build is probably the one that I was the most excited about, and every time I walk through it I get really excited all over again. But I wanted to create a security entrance like you would see at the airport, because in this island there's a lot of farming because they found a planet that has really, really good soil, and so they basically use this entire planet to produce food for a bunch of different other planets. So it's pretty high security. They don't want cross-contamination, and this poor lady has set off the alarms. My worst nightmare going through the airport. But I really liked including an original build inspired by something that I had never pictured doing before. So I'm happy with how that turned out. And then beyond here, there is just the little UFO, because I can't not have a UFO on a sci-fi alien island. And lots of water piping around the trees. I use the water piping very, very much throughout the island, and basically all of the island is covered in these walkways too, except for the farming areas, of course. And then lots of flower displays here because a lot of people would come here to check out the plants. And Nook's Cranny is a little shop for selling supplies, but also just enjoying fun treats. And then over to the right here, I had a sanitization area for anybody who is coming to stay and work on the island for a while. So there's stalls, hand washing area, lockers, and then there's a couple of different bathrooms so people can get thoroughly cleaned up, and guest beds with these cool sleeping pods. I would never use these on any island, so it was really exciting to set these up because I was like, oh man, never have I ever, and now I have. So then Pillow Leaf running across this way. So over the bridge I have first my sister's house, and you won't see her character right now because I'm not actually in the dream address, I'm on my island. but she is dressed up as a robot, so her outfit's really cute, and if you visit, you'll have to say hi. This one is a control room kind of area, and I only decorated the main floor, so don't worry about going into any of the other rooms, and I hope it is visually clear that don't really need to go through the other rooms anyway. But this was pretty cool because, again, lots of items that I wouldn't typically use. There's servers all over this island, and it was really fun. And back out here, this is the area where I planted basically all of the in-game farm items, which I have never done a sprawling farm like this, so it was really cool to see all of these together. Again, with the piping so that there's lots of thorough water care and the canals just to make sure everything gets watered appropriately. Down here is bags of soil and seeds, and then over here is kind of a processing area. And this is a build that shows up on most of the farms because again, leaning into the futuristic, kind of industrialized, they're processing efficiently. And I think I put the two bots here. Let me see. Sprocket and Dell. Okay, not quite, but Sprocket and Dell are in charge of this area here. And then if you go up here, it's the only area of terraforming. I was expecting more terraforming, but I didn't, so that's fine. And if you look off the ledge, there's cranberries, and then in the distance, there's blueberries. You can't really, let's see if I can get a better view of it. Yeah, a little bit. You can see the blueberries in the distance, but again, with the sanitization area here, making sure to wash your hands. And then another control panel, a processing area. This one's got watermelon and cauliflower. And right here is another one of my favorite builds. I built up to the second tier so I could make these wisteria pergolas look like grapevines. So this area was one of the ones that I had in mind very first when I started pulling together different farm ideas. I looked up all the kind of fake farms that I thought I could feasibly do and pulled them together on this island. And then over here I have my watermelon farm as well as my cauliflower farm. And this kind of overlooks where my character's house is, as well as a couple of test tubes with some jams. And I'll have to work my way back around here. And I really loved setting up these trees right here with the super cool connected kind of wire work pathing. And over here, this is the bots. This has got to be the bots. Cephalobot, yep. And then this is going to be Ribbit. Yep. So they are in charge of this area up here, the grapevines and everything like that. And then down here, Ione and Judy are in charge of the strawberry farm, which I made with the red pansies, I think is the flower. And then the blueberries and the cranberries. I put a ton of the tin buckets around because I really wanted buckets, but they only have the tin buckets and the wooden buckets, and the tin buckets look like they're full of water. So, I mean, they're for watering, they're also for just carrying stuff. I thought that was really, I just thought it fit the island. And then over here is strawberry processing, very nice. And right here is a ton of wheat fields with a couple of custom codes made to look like sheep and cows. And at the very end, there are goats. And I have never used this many wheat fields all at once. It's having to load here. But it was pretty fun to just throw down all of these wheat fields and create the illusion of this area for these animals. And behind them, of course, is Tipper's house. She is definitely in charge of taking care of the cows. And this one I believe is Roswell. Yep, and Roswell too. They are best buddies. And then between the housing setup, we've just kind of got like a plant area with some more boxes, lots and lots of industrialization, right? Many boxes. And the milk spot, very cute. And back over this way, the secret beach I kind of made into a snack area. The beaches otherwise are all closed off. and I have fencing pretty consistently throughout the island, but at the back I didn't want to do a fencing. I wanted to have the back of the island be on the main level so that you could just walk along and look out at the water, because most of my terraforming in the back of my islands typically just is second or even third tier, so I wanted to really try and get it first level on this island. And then over here is my character's house. Again, I only decorated the one area, and this was kind of a storage area again, kind of looking over supplies and looking at all the pretty flowers that can grow here. So another simple build, not too much to worry about. I wasn't super focused on the interiors, and I didn't decorate any of the villager interiors, so just an outdoor kind of an island. And then back over this way, past all these solar panels. So many solar panels. Woo. Okay, over here is the eating area for the people who work on the island. Again, very streamlined, industrial, providing a lot in a little bit of space. It was also a ton of fun to use all the different serving items, which I hadn't used before. And then out here, just kind of a area to look out at the ocean, look out through a telescope at the night sky. I did set this in the morning because I can't see much at night, but I wanted the glow to still be there, so I did set it around like 5:45 a.m. so it'll be a little bit darker when you guys start your tour of the island if you choose to visit. But down here is where Petrie and what's his name? Rattle, that's right. Petrie and Rattle, they live here, and they kind of have the lab area where they are looking over information on how things are going and where to improve. So I've got some of the sci-fi items here, as well as lots of canned goods. And then here, more boxes, more servers, and then tables, and a gas mask just in case, and books for research. Just lots and lots of research in this area, making sure that things are going okay. And this was another build of mine that I really loved. I hadn't done an orchard before, and I really love symmetry and consistency, and so putting these trees together in a very clearly non-organic way and just having them lined up so perfectly was really fun for me. So a good excuse on this sci-fi futuristic planet to just put everything in neat rows. And that pretty much covers my whole island. This was a fun one to do pretty quickly. I also got to include a ton of Animal Crossing villagers that I would never have on my island otherwise, which was also fantastic. I loved that. I'm looking forward to trying more out of the box kind of things as well in the future, and I'm still definitely working on Fringewood, my town core, forest core, cryptid core island. How many cores can we fit in there? And I've super been loving that, so I'm excited to get back onto publishing more of those videos. I'm hoping to have one out next week, so if you want to check it out, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you were to build a futuristic island, what kind of futuristic island would you like to build? Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope that you have a stellar day.